right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here, Total Dominance Football League, for your Dominance Bowl preview. Dominance Bowl 6 goes live today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be an exciting day. Alright, so here's the situation as is. All you got to do is go over to the Pro Boards. Once you get on the Pro Boards, you're going to be able to go to the league announcements, look for the current league schedule if you have not seen it yet, and there's where everything is wrote out, everything is ready to go. If you're a fan of the league, you can go in there and see it as well. You can see all the steps that are taking place. Today, the podcast live at 2 o'clock, so we are live now. 6 o'clock is the game. At halftime, we are announcing the two new owners of the league and which team they will now own, which team belongs to them. And what's crazy, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the teams that are in our Dominance Bowl will find a new owner at halftime. They will be the owner officially of that team once the game ends, but at halftime they will find out if they own the Aftershocks or not and who that may be. So it's going to be a fun time, and I've already spoke to all the gentlemen involved, letting them know the situation at hand and what needs to be taken care of and what needs to be done. So it's going to be a fun time with them, because once the game's over, I'm going to run two different videos where I'm going to show the Orlando Sentinels roster and the San Diego Aftershock roster, so those two new owners can watch the team video that pertains to their team. At which point then they can get back to me and let me know every single player they are going to cut, and that'll be taking place tonight, because that's going to be a part of their agenda. They have to take care of it tonight, simply because tomorrow 10 a.m. will be the league's Pro Bowl, where we will see all the best of the TDFL taking on the best of the NFL's NFC teams in the Pro Bowl game. There's no Pro Bowl voting to show just yet, so we don't know who's made it and who didn't. Do be aware, the team that makes it to the quote-unquote Super Bowl, as you can see on this screen, since it is the AFC and that's the division, or excuse me, the conference we took over in the realms of real NFL, the two teams that make it to the Super Bowl do not compete in the Pro Bowl. So whoever wins the game today will not have any players in the Pro Bowl tomorrow. That's going to be the only problem. So basically it'll be for the 15 losing teams, the Pro Bowl. That'll be their grand prize, where the one team will have the championship. So to the owner of the team who doesn't see their players tomorrow, they have the luxury of saying, yeah, I'm the champ and you are not. But just real quick before we get into the preview of the game, you've got staff hiring opening up tomorrow at 12 Eastern. Mock draft number 3 is going to air at 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock Eastern, staff closes. Teams are going to make their staff hirings, make any adjustments they need to do tomorrow during that 2-hour window. 3 p.m. is going to be the final re-signing of any players that you feel you need to re-sign. And then at 5 o'clock, it closes. So you get 2 hours right there. Okay, once that happens, I'm going to be simulating the week forward again. So then at 6 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night, you're going to see the free agency board open. I will have to run a video. Okay, I'll be running a video at some point. I'm not exactly sure. I want to try and come up with a time, and I'm going to announce that during the game. I got to figure out what's the right time, but I'm going to run a video where I can just kind of maybe just show you the top 7 players at each position, so you guys can look at it. But most of you already know we get connected through SharePlay. Those I don't connect with through SharePlay, we just discuss it over the phone or text or Skype, whatever ways and means we talk, because I talk to different people different ways. We'll go over the players that way, and then you guys can submit your offers to me, and then I will submit them into the game. The problem is, in the bottom right hand corner, everybody's going to see that offer. You know, we've already discussed that. Everybody knows what page we're on with that. Nobody needs to be worried about what's going on. It's all going to be taken care of. But at 6 o'clock that opens. At 8 o'clock the window closes. So in that time frame, I need to try and speak to everybody as fast and as quick as possible. That's why I'm saying the best way for things to take place is for you just to keep getting in touch with me. Text message me, emails, PMs, whatever ways and means you've got. And we got to go. I got 16 teams to deal with. So the 2 new owners that get announced today, you got to take part of that tomorrow. So make sure you understand the schedule. It's been posted. I know it's not going to work out perfectly for everybody. I know not everybody's going to be happy with all of the scheduling, but I had to do what I could do the best way I could do it. Anyway, 8 o'clock the free agency closes, and then at 9 o'clock, boom, at 8 o'clock when it closes, I'm going to advance the week. Whoever gets signed, gets signed. 9 o'clock the board opens again for phase number 2. At 10 o'clock I will air the mock draft 4. So it'll be the 4th mock draft, and then at 11 o'clock tomorrow, free agency phase 2 ends. So we're going to go through 2 phases of free agency tomorrow. Teams are going to start taking shape. Then it goes into Tuesday, and Wednesday's my birthday. That's when the trades are going to open, where you guys can start moving players back and forth or draft picks again before the official draft, which goes live 6 p.m. this Thursday, July 21st. That's going to be crazy, and that's not me forgetting anything else that needs to take place on Tuesday, because there's more free agency that takes place there, the next 2 phases, and then on Friday it's just buttoning things up, and then we are ready for season 7. But before all that, it's about today and what's going on today. Lamar, it's actually a copy and paste. It's actually not a form, that's why. Yeah, you just need to copy and paste it in an email and send it to me, and get it to me. Also, to the owners, those of you who did not create your players yet, if you want your players in the draft and you want to have a player in the league, you need to get that to me. And those of you who don't or didn't plan to, let me know as well, so I can take you off the list, because I've been keeping track of it. That you can also find on the league announcements. It says owner/players. And real quick, Dwayne Ritter, who owns the Thunderbirds, he's got cornerback Bart Theismann. Ed created D.D. Ritter, a left guard. I created myself as a fullback, so you guys can actually draft me. I figured, why the hell not? Scott Kimball, wide receiver Macho Fogg. Doug Day killed me with this one. He created a left end and called himself Doug Knight. He's Doug Day, so his player's Doug Knight. CJ Coates, who owns the Dreadnoughts, created cornerback Azen Carter, and my shit is already blowing up from some of you guys right now. And yes, it is. That's 2 messages already from 2 different owners. You guys are killing me. Y'all love it. Ricky Irsay created a running back, and Jim Bob Irsay. What the hell? Frankie Lee, Luis Sanchez Cross, Javon Jackson do not have players created. Taco has Robert Bose, a right outside linebacker. Thomas W. Goodhart created Tommy Hart, a tight end. Mark did not make a player yet. Lady Faye made Mr. Eugene a free safety. Brad Pierce did not make a player. And to the 2 new owners, they will have their players posted, because all the guys who put in applications to become owners also put in applications to be players, so their player name will be announced once the ownership's announced. So that's going to be pretty cool when it comes to that. That's going to take place here a little bit later today. But again, 6 o'clock we are kicking off the game. So let's get into this little preview. And wow, if you guys have been paying attention to the poll, it's like a landslide right now, and I looked at that just a little bit ago, and I'm going to give you guys the current voting on this. We had 28 votes come in, and with 82% of the vote, the Memphis Steamers are running away. They got 23 votes. The Aftershocks only got 5 of those 28 votes. So it's at 82.14% to 17.86. So it's 82 to 18% voting in favor of the Steamers to win this championship tonight. Awesome. Anybody who puts in applications now will be added to the draft in time for Thursday. I'll tell you that right now. Just make sure you fill out the application properly, and make sure you let us know how you want to allocate your 35 attribute points to improve your player to your standards of what you wanted. Clinton, I just saw your post about sharing and tweeting like usual. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, it'd be perfect, Lamar. Perfect. Alright, so We'll start with the underdogs, the Aftershocks. This is a team who started out the season 6-1 and looked like they were well on their way to becoming a major force. Then all of a sudden the speed bump hit them, and they dropped 3 straight games. And then there started becoming talk of, oh, these guys must just be pretenders. They're fake. They're this, they're that. But then after that, they ended up winning 6 of their last 7 games down the stretch. Now, that one game that they lost, unfortunately, was when James took over for Jason. For those of you who are not sure who James and Jason are, the Aftershocks were owned by Jason Lemmy. The man is 70-plus years old. Unfortunately, we lost him this year. He passed away. May he rest in peace. Tonight's game will be dedicated to his honor, per the request of not only the league, but Brad himself, who owns the Steamers, wanted that to be done. So this game tonight's for Jason. But his son James took over. James, in his first game, decided to make a couple little tweaks to what his dad had put together, and he ended up losing that game. And then he's like, okay, now I see why my dad did what he did, and he went back to what his dad put in place, and now he's able to run off and win his last few games. So it's been a very interesting thing here. Right now I'm just a little choked up thinking about Lemmy, because it was really, I really got close to the guy pretty quick. He was a fellow Raiders fan. For those of you who know me well enough, I'm a Raiders fan, so it was kind of, a little heart-wrenching when he went. Plus 70 years old is horrible, the way he went and falling down and all that good stuff. But in any case, we're going to make this a fun day. So we got the Aftershocks running down the table here, making things happen, going into the playoffs. And once they got into the playoffs, they ended up running in, as you can see, the middle game there on the far left, into the Thunderbirds, winning 27-3, revenging against a team they lost to earlier in the season, 20-2. That's right, all they could get was a lousy safety. It was almost like complete role reversal in this game, and that was the worst the Thunderbirds had looked all season. Even in any of their other losses, which weren't many, that was the worst they had ever looked. I'm trying to make a statement. And the following week, they go and play the Gunners, another team that defeated them in the year. So it was like, damn. I mean, Lamar, as far as quarterback being available, we have a lot of quarterbacks in place, and not going to be much for quarterback movement, but you can always create a quarterback. And if he's good enough, somebody's going to start your ass regardless, but that's your call. But anyway, the Aftershocks beat the Gunners, and honestly, I don't even think the game was as close as the 2010 scores it shows. And now they're going to play them Steamers, and they're hot. That's all we can say right now. They're a hot team. And what I want to bring up here is Greg Harris, their starting quarterback. This man is 3-0 as the starter. And he only started one regular season game, and that was week 18. That's when the change was made, because they decided to drop Frost to the bench. And going over the numbers for Greg Harris, counting the 2 playoff games and that week 18 start, he's only thrown for 729 yards, but he's got 5 touchdowns and 1 pick in those 3 games. Julius Royal, 6'1", 235. He finished 7th in the MVP voting this season. He racked off 1,108 yards and 12 touchdowns, which is pretty freaking impressive. But I really want to bring up Damian Scott, the backup. He only ran for 434 yards and a touchdown, but he is very instrumental in the receiving game. He's got 64 catches for 413 yards and 2 scores. So look out for that tonight. Damian Scott, number 20, to get involved in the passing game of the Aftershocks. And do be aware of the Aftershocks offense. They are 7th in the league in total offense. They are 3rd in the league in total defense. So it's not too shabby there. Juan Batista's their catching threat, 106 catches this year for 915 yards and 6 touchdowns. They spread the ball around pretty well. Tyree Baldwin had 74 catches, Deacon Rhodes 81, Spencer Tennant had 47, Darrell Logan 27. So they get the ball all over the place. I also want to let you know that the Aftershocks offensive line averages 6'3.5", 318 pounds. 6'3.5", 318 pounds, and that's compared to the Steamers, who average 6'3.5", 315 pounds. So the Aftershocks are only 3 pounds heavier, which is interesting. Brandon Staley is the head coach of the Aftershocks. He finished 6th in the head coaching of the year vote, which was pretty interesting to see that. We can get into the defense. Alfonso Starks, middle linebacker, led the entire league in tackles with 175. That's no mistake. 175 total tackles. That's whether it be individual or assisted. 175 tackles. It included 7 sacks and an interception. The defensive ends, the starting defensive ends, Bradley Wolf and Mello Judge, they had 37 and 46 tackles individually, but they had 9 and 13 sacks. So that's 22 sacks from the starting ends of the Aftershocks. So that's going to be a very interesting thing, like I said. And that's where Alfonso was right behind him, middle linebacker, with 7 sacks. Bryant Pitts got 4 interceptions, along with Lyle Ross got 4 interceptions, 2 of their 3 corners. Sergio Tennis got 71 tackles with 2 interceptions. So they can intercept the ball pretty good. And Mitch Bean, love the name, Mitch Bean, the starting free safety, he's got three interceptions. He had 81 tackles. The strong safety, Keith Booker, 95 tackles. So they got a lot of tackling machines here in San Diego. Don't have a lot of interception numbers, but they get to the quarterback. And that's something they're going to need to do against the Steamers. And then speaking of those Steamers, their head coach, Robert Saleh, he's the coach of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Based off the voting, he is the coach of the year. Let's just know that. Also, this is a team who went into week 1. He went into week 1 and they lost 24-6 to the London Black Knights. Now, after losing 24-6 to the London Black Knights in week 1, they went and won the next 16 games straight of the regular season, and then won last week 27-14 over the Dreadnoughts in the divisional round here, semifinals, to have 17 straight wins. A win tonight gives them 18 straight. Insane. Absolutely insane. Now this team's going to be led by Corbin Cardin, the starting quarterback. He's 6 foot 213. He was 2nd in the league MVP. So he's the runner-up in the league's MVP. Now this is a guy who is now on his 3rd team this season. His 3rd team this season. I just want to make sure you guys understand that. He played for the Elks, he played for the Beats, and now he's playing for the Steamers. He threw for 4,428 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 11 picks, completing 77% of his passes to end up getting, like I said, the runner-up for the MVP. And they're lining up behind him. This is an interesting statistic and an interesting story. When the season started, Forrest Rushing, very interesting, Forrest Rushing was scheduled to be the starting running back for this team, but he got injured. He had an injury. I put him on the bench. So then what the Steamers had to do was figure out what they needed to do to fix their team as far as the running back goes. So they just said, you know what, we're not going to go out and do anything crazy, anything stupid, next man up. It was a PCL tear. That's right, I had to make sure I mentioned what it was, a PCL tear for Rushing. So he was out for the season. So the next man up was Quentin Strickland. Well, Quentin Strickland ended up running for 1,184 yards and 7 touchdowns. And Justice Lyons, who was originally going to be the number 3 running back, he ended up running for 581 yards and more touchdowns of 91. And he gets involved into the passing game as well with 34 catches for 314 yards and 2 scores. As we go into the game tonight, Forrest Rushing is 100% healthy. He is cleared. He is ready to go. And this would be his first game back, his first bit of action tonight. The question is, did Brad Pierce pull the trigger and make Forrest Rushing the starter? Did he make him the backup? Where is he on the depth chart tonight? We're going to have to wait and see. This was the starter for this team, and the PCL tear took that out. So they have a 3-headed monster in the backfield tonight. Question is, who is the starter? Now, speaking of the rest of the team, Stefan Goodrich had 74 catches, 849 yards and 8 scores. Nick Conley, 56 for 618 and 2 touchdowns. Randall Hancock, 52 catches, 650 yards and 3 scores. And then you had Thurman Humphrey, 40 catches, 506 yards and 2 scores. And then their tight end, Malcolm Peck, 95 catches, 937 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sheesh. The Steamers come into the game ranked number 1 in total offense and number 9 in total defense. Now, to compare total offense to defense, Steamers 1 on offense, Aftershocks 3 on defense. Steamers have the number 3 pass offense. The Aftershocks have the number 5 pass defense. The Steamers are number 2 in the league in rushing, and the Aftershocks are 9th against the rush. Now, doing it the opposite way, the Aftershocks have the 7th ranked offense compared to the 9th defense of the Steamers. The Aftershocks have the 8th passing offense compared to the 12th passing defense of the Steamers. We found their weak link right there. Can they capitalize with this quarterback who's only played 3 games? And their running team is number 7 in the league, whereas the defense of the Steamers are actually 3rd against the rush. So when you break this all down, the game, I think, is going to be won and lost based off the arm of the Aftershocks against that defense of the Steamers. If they can capitalize there, they might have a chance of winning this game and pulling it off and winning this championship and shocking everybody. The attributes, Lamar, you put them on your player. If you've ever played Madden, you know all the attributes that are available. Build your player the way you wish. If you're using a quarterback, add it to some accuracy, or add it to his deep throw, his middle throw accuracy, or arm strength, his agility to get out of the pocket, whatever you think would make your quarterback the way you want. If you're building a lineman, make him stronger, make him better at pass blocking, add some awareness, whatever the case may be. It's all up to you. You get those 35 points. Your player may get more points added to him later. There's a lot of things going to the owners meeting, and speaking of that owners meeting, I need to get into that as well as soon as I'm done talking about this here just in a few minutes. But I want to go and mention some of the Steamers defensive players that need to catch some recognition right now. Casey Reynolds, the left end, 7.5 sacks coming into this game. Gabe Clements, defensive tackle, has 4 sacks. Jonathan Carruthers, the defensive tackle, has been an absolute beast. 48 tackles, 11 sacks coming into tonight. They got a lot of players that get sacks. Same thing with the Steamers as the Aftershocks. Nobody really intercepts the ball overly too much. Edward Brown has 91 tackles and 4 sacks. 4 INTs, leading the team. So you have that going on. But there's a lot of fun. Dom Matlock, the kicker of the Steamers, he won Kicker of the Year. I figured I'd throw that in there so you guys know. The Kicker of the Year is in tonight's game, and he plays for the Steamers. So they got another thing going for him. Coach of the Year, Kicker of the Year, runner-up of the MVP. So they got a lot of accolades coming out of Memphis. Hell of a year. And one of the stats that really blew my mind is Brad himself said he won 20 overall games in 3 seasons combined. And this season alone, win or lose, he's now won 17 this year, just 3 less. It's a hell of a turnaround. Kudos to Brad for figuring out whatever it is he figured out to get his team moving in the right freaking direction. But yeah, like I said, I want to mention a few things so you guys know about what we're doing as far as quote-unquote owners meetings. And what that means is people have made some suggestions for new rules, adding some things, whatever the case may be, tweaking some things. And those owner meeting things will be taking place pretty right away. And what I mean by that is we're going to vote on all this stuff right away. Like I said, if you go into the current league schedule off the pro boards, it says in here that owners meeting material will be sent out. All owners must read and vote. Anyone who fails to return the completed documents back to me before 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, they're going out today. They're going out today following the game. As soon as the championship game is done, I got to post 2 videos. The Aftershocks roster, the Sentinels roster. Right after that or right before, I'm not sure which way I'm doing it, I am going to send out the questionnaire for the owners meetings. Anyone who does not get those back to me before 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning will have their starting quarterbacks suspended for the first 3 games of the season. Because the owners don't have much work to do at all, except making sure they have their roster set and trained the way they wish. And quite frankly, it takes 5-10 minutes each week. It really does. Those who want to more deep dive in and really get a little bit more fancy with it could take a little bit longer. But this is the most work you've got, is this off season we're about to hit. I'm dealing with 16 owners and going over this with 16 owners. I then also have the 16 NFL teams that I got to make sure I'm taking care of every week, upgrading those players. So if they have any computer players, I can release them to the free agent pool for you guys to be able to potentially sign. So it's a lot of work for me. That's why the schedule's been set the way it is. Like I said, it's not going to make everyone completely happy, but we got to do the best we can. This is the best I could give you, and I apologize to any inconvenience for anybody, but it is what it is. So make sure you get me those votes. Now, going into it, this is just, I'm jumping around, just giving you guys a couple little ideas of what we have on here. Resetting of the cap penalties has already cleared. I'm going to let you guys know that now. We will be resetting any cap penalties that any team has immediately following the season. We took a vote. All the new potential owners have all voted in favor of that, which would put us at the 9-7 vote that would be needed to pass. So that's going to happen, so we can actually take that one off the list and it doesn't need to be sent out. Like somebody suggested, benching players during games. Benching players during games. Well, that can only happen if you're live with the game. So if we're running a game right now and you think your quarterback's just not getting it done right, oh my God, he's screwing up, he's doing this, he's doing that, blah, blah, blah. You want him benched? Guess what you can do? You can bench him. That's not a problem. We can throw him on the bench if you're live. But we're going to vote if that's going to be okay. Now, we have the OTAs for rookies and veterans. Now, what that means, it's been suggested that the owners would be able to allocate X amount of attribute points to X amount of players on their team following quote-unquote OTAs. Meaning they just get to boost a few players a little bit to their benefits to fit their scheme. Now, one of the ideas is any rookie you draft, you'll be able to allocate 3 points to him anywhere you wish. That's one of the suggestions right now. So, and then the veterans, we still have to completely finalize how many players you can touch, but they're going to get a little more than 3 points. It may only be 4 or 5 points, but it's not going to be much. And they get to pick X amount of players to add points to. There may be some rules and regulations to how much you can or can't add, or what you can and can't do per se, but like I said, we'll deep dive into that later. All teams must carry a fullback is another question. You guys can vote on any of these things the way you want. So just we'll have fun with it, and like I said, it ain't gonna take long for everybody to vote on these and go over it. So we'll be able to get into in and out of the owners meeting pretty freaking quick. So that shouldn't be an issue. And like I said, tomorrow, 10 a.m., Pro Bowl, and then we're going to open up the gates of hell, which is going to be a fun hell. And you guys are going to have all the fun in the world. Mock drafting, signing staff. Anybody, if you're an owner right now and you want to fire any of your staff and you haven't done that, let me know. Because I think only 2 teams, I thought it was 3. Only 2 teams have done anything with their staff. That's it. 1 completely fired everything and 1 got rid of a coordinator. That's it. So staffs should take place quick, and I've also mentioned this to a bunch of you, and you all have been like, yes, yes, yes. If we run a stage like tomorrow, staff hiring opens at 12 and then it doesn't close till 2. If everything's taken care of before 1 o'clock, I'm going to close it and jump right into the next thing. So instead of waiting till 3 p.m. for final re-signing of players, I can open that right away and then close that at 5 as planned, unless all 16 teams get to me in time, and then I can close that early. So nothing's going to get pushed back, but things can get moved up as long as all 16 teams are done. So the faster you guys work to get your stuff in, the faster we can move things along. And fucking Brad already wants to start the season right away. You had me cracking up. How do you say that? This is awesome, but you forgot July 23rd is the start of the season. I don't think we're starting the season that early. But I get his point. If everything's done, what's stopping us from starting the season? So that's one thing me and the owners will have to talk about when they actually want to start season 7. But that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. You know, everything that's happening with the off-season, you know, everything that's going to be happening with the draft, which is part of the off-season, and tonight's championship game. I do want to say this. I want tonight to be, if possible, the best night we've had in the TDFL off-season. Get your friends to watch, if you don't mind. You know, like Lucius is in here, and I know he's got a lot of friends that he talks to, especially in the wrestling community. So selling them on some football might be a little hard because he's a wrestling guy. He's part of that wrestling community. But if he can get some people to come in here and watch, maybe somebody will join. You know, which would be freaking cool. If any of you other guys who are in here now can get your friends in here and tell them, hey, go check out this league. This is fun. Maybe we can get ourselves some new players here in the next couple of days, you know, before we do the draft. Because once the Thursday comes along and we got to do the draft, that's it. Now, I would like to have all my owners be able to know who's all in the draft completely before Thursday. So whenever you get a guy made, I'll let them know who you made and shit like that. And if they want to scout him real quick, I can give them some time to do so. But 6 o'clock Thursday is going to be fucking nuts. So from midnight, the 21st till the 6 p.m. So that's giving us what does that be? 18 hours. You know, my 16 owners will have the opportunity to jump on the game and check out any of the new players that get made if they haven't already seen them yet. And that same goes for any of you other owners who haven't made your players yet. And I have wrote down a list of who the players replaced, because if you guys don't remember, if we have had 2 left outside linebackers made and you're the third to create a player, you'll take over the guy who's third on the list on the board. Let me see, I can do this from here. I'll give you guys an example. I'll just go into Punters since it's easier to show you with Punters. This way you guys know what I'm talking about. So we'll go to Scout Players with Memphis here. We go to Prospects. And right here we got Punters. Here you go. So if somebody who decides to join and be a punter, since we don't have any human punters, the first person who would sign up as a punter would replace Lane Hutchins. I will change Lane Hutchins' name. I will put your player's name in his place. I will change what his look is to the best of our ability, whatever you guys picked, and then add your attributes that you want for your player. Then Lane Hutchins becomes you. If we get a second person who wants to sign up, well, because Lane Hutchins already been claimed, you would take over Jared Peckett. And this is going to take place for every single position. So that's how we do it. Now, the only computer players on the screen that aren't run by humans that aren't getting replaced are the ones that Billy Corso wrote stories about. Since he already wrote stories about them and gave them a draft preview on the boards, we kept them. So let's just say Jared Peckett was advertised. I would leave him, and the second guy would become Mike Walker. I hope that's pretty self-explanatory now that you hear what I'm saying. If not, you know, just listen to what I just said again. I think you'll be able to comprehend it and get it. So, in any case, I want to wrap this up because, like I said, I went and worked all night. I have not slept yet, and now my plan is to go to bed and get up at 5:30, grab something to eat that quick for a 6 o'clock kickoff. It's crazy. The full draft board should be able to be announced pretty soon there, Lucius. The game doesn't show me the exact draft order because the season's still happening. So yeah. And don't forget, the draft order's out of whack because we got 16 teams, which are NFL teams that pick. So a team might have, say, the 9th pick overall, but it's technically the first pick in our draft. In case nobody's listened to it or heard it yet, during the draft, anytime an NFL team is on the clock, I will take over that team. I'm going to press the button up, which should take us to the bottom of the draft, meaning the worst players. And I'm going to always draft for them the worst player on the board. because the NFL teams don't need any of the real good players. That's for this league. So, any case, I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, get on the boards and message me. Make sure if you're a member of this league and want to be an owner or a player, that you are registered for the pro boards. That is a must. That is a must that you must do. You must be a part of the pro boards. I'm dropping the link here in the window. You also can find it on the website. You can also find it on the website by going to the forums page of the website. So it's not that hard, and I will drop that link as well. And that takes you right there. You just go click on that, and then boom, right there, it tells you where to go. So we're ready to rock and roll. We are ready to rock and roll. Season 6 is about to end. TDFL Dominance Bowl 2022, live from Memphis, Tennessee, 6 p.m. Eastern. Less than 4 hours away. I can't believe we're already getting to the championship game. It's absolutely freaking nuts. Again, aftershocks. Steamers, congratulations to both James and Jason Lemmy. Congratulations, gentlemen. To Brad Pierce, congratulations. May the best team win tonight. Also, for those of you who aren't aware, Jackson Cannon, he was working on a new logo. I love the logo. The only thing I asked him to do was tweak in some stars. That's it. It's a lot less glitz and glamour in the background of the current logo. It's a little more black themed, but it's still the green and the blue, because we're going to stick with that. Some people have been saying we should go red and blue because that's what most sports leagues are, like NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL. I'm like, you know what? No, we're going to stay green and blue. This way we're different. But yeah, the only thing, like I said, when he submitted it to me, I liked it, but I think there was only 6 stars on it. Now, here was my request to him, and he was like, hey, that's not a problem. We can do that. I asked him to make it 16 stars. 16 stars, because we have 16 teams. So that was the only request that I had made. Can we do it that way? And he told me that's not a problem. Now, soon as he gets that done and complete, I will be able to post it for you guys so you can see it. It'll replace all the current logos. So that'll be fun. What the hell did I just do over here? Boopy doo boop boop. Yeah, because the way it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's kind of like pyramided at the top or the bottom, if you will, the logo. And then the player that you see on the current logo is still there, and it's got a blue and white like stripes behind him, and it's got the green, but then the stars are at the top. And we were just going to put the stars down the sides, all the way around, and box the whole thing in with these stars. I let him know how to do it to make it look right, so it represents everybody. This way everybody's represented on the thing by a star, is basically what happened. So yeah. But again, if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, need me for anything, pro boards, text, Skype, wherever you reach me, hit me up, let me know, and we'll be able to rock and roll. But tonight's the night, championship game, and then we're into season freaking 7 that quick. Pro Bowl tomorrow, that's going to be fun. And like I said, make sure you check out the boards and you go to the announcements. League announcements, current league schedule, it's sticky, it's at the top. Check it out. It all breaks down everything that's going to take place. Teams will be signing new players tomorrow. Free agency tomorrow. And free agency is huge because it's going to affect what you want to do in the draft. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Thank you for listening. Please be there at the game. And like I said, let's try to get us to 15, 20 viewers during the game. That'd be freaking amazing. We've never done that for the football because we're still growing this. But, I mean, we used to have 1 or 2 people show up at the games, and that's it. Now we're getting up to 7 to 10. Let's see if we can double that. Let's get crazy. Although, realistically, I would love to see it hit double digits, and I'd be extremely ecstatic because it just shows we're growing. And that says kudos to all you, the players, and all you, the owners. So any one of you that is in the league, share it with your friend. Tell them about what we're doing. And tell them to come join. Tell them to come be a part of this. We'll grow this league. 100% absolutely free. Always will be. It's not about a money grab for us. It's about having fun and doing something football-esque, and then whoever wins can talk a lot of shit. And just enjoy it and have fun. Alright, y'all. See you at 6 o'clock. Later.